All right, so let's talk about a very, very hot topic today, and that is hypergamy. So there are plenty of communities online now, especially on Facebook and YouTube, all about dating up, leveling up, hypergamy, dating a man who can add to your life, add value to your life. And I feel like there is a very specific perspective that is always left out of the conversation on hypergamy, on women dating up, on women and women, only entertaining men who will benefit them. Hey, baby cheeks on the run. Hey, girl. How are you? Wait, wasn't your name Ase before? Like Alicia Ase before? But anyway, all right. Hey, so okay, great. Okay, so I did recognize you. Good. So right. So the conversation about hypergamy and the conversation about whether or not it's moral if women date up or not is always missing a vital perspective and point of view. And that point of view is understanding the type of society, the type of communities, the type of countries, the type of realities women live in, that would be the best choice for them, right? So hypergamy is nothing new. It's nothing new at all. It's as old as time. Marriage, for love is a very new concept. For as long as humans have been around and as long as civilization has been, I'm sorry, let me fix that. As long as civilization has been around, monarchies, different types of governance, people have always married either for political alliance or for economic benefit, right? Like the concept of marrying for love was never popular until today. And we have to start thinking about why that is the case. So, okay, biologically, men and women are different, right? Men and women are different. Unfortunately, our species, the way our societies are set up, unfortunately, like, whoa, wait a minute, 1 second. Ah, man. Wait. Hey. Anyway, I think the dog is making noise. Okay, sorry, let me get back on track. So, right, I was saying that women's bodies are valued a lot more than their intellect, than any other aspect of a woman, unfortunately. And women deciding to accept that reality, acknowledge it, and not run away from it, not deny it, not lie to themselves, and actually use it for their benefit, for their security, their future securities, their future generation security, is not dumb, and it doesn't make them evil gold diggers. It doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them people who are, waking up, who are realizing that, hey, the society in which we live, the world in which we live the world in which we live, like these are the cards that they have, that it has dealt us. And it's like I hear all of these men bashing women like, oh, they're gold diggers, and the MGTOW group online are like, yeah, we're going our own way. We don't want to deal with these women anymore who just want to date for money. But it's like, why? Okay, so you are criticizing the people who are simply trying to survive in the patriarchal and misogynistic, sexist world that we live in. Like, why don't you criticize the society in which we live? Why don't you criticize the world in which we live? Why don't you criticize the power structures that make hypergamy often the best decision for women? There was an article recently that I read. I can't remember which news source it was from, but it was definitely from a credible source. I think it was like Time. I can't remember. But the title of the article was something along the lines that the number one way still for women to get rich is to marry rich, unfortunately, right? And if you think about all the discrimination, all the workplace discrimination that women go through, all the career-based discrimination that women go through, it's like, is is it logical to look at a woman and say, hey, you go out there, even though you're getting paid 60 cents to every dollar a man makes, is it logical to go out there and try to compete with a man, even though you know already the world, the society is rigged against you? Or is it just smart to think of another option that isn't glamorized right now, that is, kind of disparaged right now, to get something that most women are looking for, which is security, which is a chance to live their lives, which is a chance to have children, which is a chance to be free and not have to work and build someone else's dream. Ricky McFarland says, hey, Ricky, how are you? But yeah, so I mean, just the whole idea. So, if anyone doesn't know, hypergamy is the act of marrying or dating someone of a higher socioeconomic status, a higher class, a higher caste, right? In order to, like baby Cheeks on the Run says, secure the bag, in order to gain a better economic and financial future. And who doesn't want that, right? And it's unfortunate that there are so many people, just like not men. It's not just the mugtile men who come down on women saying that, oh yeah, you're just evil gold diggers. I mean, women, like I have people in my own family who looked at me crazy when I said that I wanted to date someone who could add to my life and who wasn't going to force me to work, while I'm pregnant or while I have young children, because that's not the life I want to live. Okay. That's just not the life. That's not the situation that I want to be in. I love to be taken care of, right? Like I don't want to fight against nature. And that's another thing that I have to bring up. So if you haven't heard of this already, but the saying that nature laughs last is extremely relevant in this case, extremely relevant when we're talking about hypergamy, extremely valuable when we're thinking about our futures as women or people. Hey, stop. Sorry, the dog is acting crazy. But anyway, it's extremely important to start planning our futures and planning ahead. And we have to understand that at the end of the day, nature laughs last. That biological clock will always be ticking and talking for us women, right? Unless in the next couple of years they come out with this revolutionary medicine that can stop aging, this will always be a necessary conversation that women will have to have. Sorry, it's the dog. We had a couple dogs. So Gishian Doll says, hey girl, how are you? But yeah, like no one, it's so far in the conversation on hypergamy, I've been seeing people take the stance of, yeah, I'm going to secure that. And yes, women, guess what? Because still until today, the number one way for women to gain wealth and to gain economic freedom or financial freedom is to marry some rich man, unfortunately. And that is proof that we haven't evolved as a society as much as we think we have, right? So all of the feminist rhetoric, all of the talk about feminism, you know what? That stuff is important, okay? I am not bashing feminism at all. I'm just looking at it from a critical eye. I am not bashing more traditional women at all. I'm saying, as a woman, you can take aspects of both and make it work for you. I'm sorry. Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. The dogs are barking because the male person just came in and just dropped the mail off. So Gishan Doll says, do you think going for a trade is better than college? Now listen, if you cannot go to college for free, yes. I went to college for free. If you go to my channel, I have a whole channel to teach people how to get scholarships. It's called The Paid Student. If you go over there, I might change the name. I'm sorry in the future if someone is watching this video in the future, but I might change the name. But as of right now, that channel is called The Paid Student. Go to The Paid Student and subscribe, and you will learn how to go to college for free. But anyway, if you cannot go to college for free, yes, go to trade school and get a trade. Make you a little bit of money until you possibly can marry someone who can support you long enough and invest in you, so where you can start your own business. Okay. But as I was saying, like, no one really takes into account the structural realities and the way things are set up in society to make women want to do this, or to make this actually the best decision that women can make. Ricky McFarland says college is great for building a network. Check out consortium programs. I have heard of them. Yes, they are. Actually, college is wonderful for building a network. But I'm sorry, Ricky, like, if you are risking getting into, I'd say 40, you know what? Let's just say 30 to $100,000 in debt. It's not worth it. That network isn't worth it. Unless that network can immediately get you a job and that's going to pay you $300,000, it's not worth it. But like, I'm all for women being educated, but I just think people, when they think about women, when they think about feminist rhetoric, when they think about more traditional rhetoric, that women should be like stay-at-home moms and whatnot, and just get married. I'm not saying either or is right. I'm just saying that it doesn't have to be either or. You don't have to be like a stronghold feminist and say, oh, this is the only correct thing in the world. And you don't have to be, a stronghold traditional woman and say this is the only correct thing. Women, choose which life you want to choose. I personally am incorporating both. I am educated. I'm in a graduate school program right now, and like, I'm also exploring my options when it comes to dating men who can add value to my life and who can invest in me. I'm not just going to stick to one side, because I understand that we live in a constantly evolving world, and I might want to move in and out of these places. And in these spaces of, some point in my life, I might just want to stay home. Another period in my life or a chapter in my life, I might want to go out and work and create something for myself. But, I wouldn't, just my personal advice is, don't close out any of your options. Like, if you can, keep your options open. Hey, be quiet. Sorry. I can't believe he's making all that noise. Ricky McFarland says, I work at B school. 80% of our students secure employment by December. They are also given a sign-on bonus. Our minority at a B- school, our minority students that are in consortium get a free ride. I will say that it is not needed. You mean the free ride is not needed? But anyway, that's good. I'm happy. I wouldn't suggest anyone go to college unless they can afford it, or unless they're going for free. I would highly I highly suggest you avoid getting yourself $50,000 and up worth of debt as a teenager, as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20, 22, 21, 22. I don't think it's worth it. I know plenty of people who've graduated with $100,000 in debt, and they're like 22, and they're like, well, I haven't found a job. So it's like, that's not worth it. But anyway, when it comes to hypergamy, just think that this practice is very old. It's nothing new. But because, of the rise of feminism, and because of the new options that women are having in developed countries, now women have the choice. Now women have the choice of going out on their own and building their own empires and possibly taking care of a man, right? Like, now we're seeing the rise of stay-at-home fathers and partnerships with men and women. Seeing a man take the sole provider role is kind of rare nowadays, and that's fine, right? But now it's important to know that you have an option, and honestly, no one can judge. I suggest everyone thinks critically about your options. I suggest that, everyone, do not close out your options. If you think you possibly could want to work one day, Don't close that option out. If you think you could possibly want to stay at home mom one day, make sure you keep your eye open on possible people who could. Hey, be quiet. But anyway, that's my cue. I should probably get off now. But yeah, my whole point in this is that hold judgment, don't criticize, and think strategically and critically about how you can use both of these realities and all of your options to live the best life for you. Right? Now, I know some women could not stand to be a stay-at-home mom. Some women could not stand to just marry someone rich and not have, build their own stuff. And that is fine. But it's important that there are options for people to choose the type of lifestyle that they want. Okay, and then it's also important to understand the larger structural realities that kind of shape our options and what people consider to be normal and not normal, what people consider to be moral or not moral, right? And one last thing is, men always like to bash women, and even women like to bash other women who want to marry up. And the thing is, bashing a woman who is dating for financial security and for financial freedom is silly, because that is something we should all be striving for. We should all be striving to live a secure, safe, healthy life. Okay? That is not shallow or superficial. Wanting security, wanting safety, wanting a healthy life with options is not shallow or superficial. Okay? People judge women who date with security in mind. Okay? On the other hand, men are not judged for dating with only sex in mind. Okay? Men will date only for that. Men will see a woman, not be attracted to her, and say, guess what? I can never be with her because I am not attracted to her in that way. I don't want to get it on with her in that way, right? And that's shallow and superficial. Oh, that is of the flesh for sure. That's extremely shallow and superficial, but they are not judged for that. Okay? So we have to understand the type of power structures we're living in. Yes, we are living in a patriarchal world. Yes, the world is misogynistic and sexist. And guess what? We either accept that reality and work with it to get what we need and want out of it, or we deny it and ignore nature and get blindsided, Do you think nursing is the only feminine career that has longevity? Teaching is seen as feminine. I mean, honestly, you don't have to tell everyone your business, Grecian doll. You don't have to tell everyone your business. I wouldn't just focus on a feminine career, if that's what you're interested in, sure. If that's what you're interested in, sure, go for it. But, if you're looking at careers just based off of, if they're traditionally seen as feminine, I think that's a little silly. You don't have to tell everyone what you do. I just wouldn't limit myself to careers that are only seen as feminine. I mean, you don't got to tell everybody your business. Chris says, but there's so much more to a partner than money and sex. I can't get with a woman because she's super sexy, just because it's an important factor. But it's an important factor. So Chris admits it's an important factor. But Chris, there are plenty of women who say, I'm one of those women that are just like, I actually don't prefer sexy men, right? Like that's not important to me. Looks are actually the least important to me. It's the most important for me is how he treats me. And if he's willing to take on the masculine role of being a protector or a provider. And guess what? In order to protect or provide anyone, you need resources and you need money, right? People love to say money's not important, but I don't see these people living without it, right? We live in a capitalist world today where living without money is impossible. Almost nearly impossible unless you're one of those special backwoods people who can live off the grid. And very few people know how to do that. Chris R says, so you don't care if he's unattractive? No, not at all. Not at all. I only care about his ability to protect and provide and how he treats me. Does he treat me with respect and kindness? I can learn to be attracted to him, but I'll be more attracted to the security and to the lifestyle. 100%. Because I'm attractive. I'm attractive enough for both of us, right? Like I don't need to, I mean, attractiveness is very fleeting and it doesn't last long. But you know what lasts long? Someone's nature or role as a protector and a provider, and someone's resources who can take care of you and your children and your future generations. Like looks mean nothing. Looks are extremely superficial, and as a woman, I don't care about them. Baby Cheeks on the Run says looks aren't everything. To me, looks aren't really anything. I mean, I prefer a man not to be hideous, right? Like it would be nice to be able to look at him, but he doesn't have to look special to me personally. I know everybody, to each their own, right? Some people prefer someone who's more attractive, but that doesn't excite me. An attractive man does not excite me. Okay. But anyway, guys, I gotta go. My dog is in the back acting crazy. I'm sorry about the noise. I'm so sorry about that noise. The dog is just barking and stuff. But I have to go. And it was really great talking to you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope you think critically about these topics of hypergamy, marriage, and dating, and just really analyze the history of human nature, of human relationships, of marriage, of civilization. Excuse me, be quiet. Sorry. Didi says, an ugly guy who provides and protects becomes very attractive as you grow in love with him. However, hygiene is extremely important. Yes, I 100% agree, Didi. Yes. Baby Cheeks on the Run says, I look at the way I'm treated. Of course, absolutely. That is number one for me. I look at the way I am treated. I could care less what he looks like initially. As long as, like Didi says, as long as he has great hygiene, you know what? You don't have to be fancy and fine. You don't have to be a great dresser. I don't care. Just how do you treat me? How do you treat me? Do you treat me with respect and kindness? If the question is yes, if you respect me, if you listen to me, if you're willing to work with me, then I am fine. I don't need something special to look at. Okay, Baby Cheeks on the Run, absolutely. Thanks, Chris R. Thanks, Didi, for your input. Geishan Doll, thank you. Ricky McFarland, thanks. And I will see you lovely people later. Bye. See ya.